to Toad TV. We are the Crafty Toads. I am Mary Beth. You can find me all over as MaryBeth494.
And I'm Helen, and you can find me as HelenHG69.
And it looks so much bigger than it actually is, but this wide expanse is our back porch. We are coming to you from the back porch. It's a little chilly.
It is.
Tiny
It was
bit
so
chilly.
gorgeous yesterday.
We need the sun.
But go a little overcast today, but it'll work well for
It's spring.
showing things.
Right.
Won't get blown out.
All right. So welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm wearing a skirt. My skirt just blew up.
It's a good thing we only do from here up.
There would be a lot of editing going on. Anyway, welcome to our YouTube channel. We are the Crafty Toads, and we do knitting, crocheting, sewing, quilting.
Our podcasts are usually knitting
Right.
and crocheting, and this is our first inaugural Floss Tube because we just started cross stitching. So
We have decided to kind of break them out.
yeah, and we're gonna kind of introduce ourselves again. Most of you know who we are already, but for anybody who's just coming for the stitching and seeing us for the first time, we will introduce ourselves. If you can't guess, we're sisters.
Nope. There is nothing similar about us.
We have two dogs who have a tendency to chime in every once in a while.
That's Drusilla.
Drusilla and Spike is over here.
They are both 9.5. They are a mixture of a golden retriever and a corgi.
They're a permanent fixture in our lives wherever we are. They are.
Yes.
And we own a business together called Toad Hollow, where we dye yarn and make project bags for knitters, and now we make cross-stitch project bags. And you can find us everywhere as ToadHollowNJ.com and ToadHollowNJ on Facebook, Instagram, blah blah.
And you can also find us sometimes as the Crafty Toads,
Right.
because we do have an Instagram account as the Crafty Toads, and our Ravelry group is the Crafty Toads.
And we both started cross-stitching pretty much just this year.
February, it was learn something new.
Yeah, I had started like in January because I was having a little bit of tendonitis in my arm, so I couldn't knit, which is our hobby of choice, as well as our business. So I did a little cross stitch, and Marybeth was never going to cross stitch.
Never, never, never. And then she showed me a cross stitch that I really fell in love with, and I thought, okay, well, maybe, as I usually do. I'm like, okay, maybe. We were just talking about something, and I'm like, no, we are not going to do that. And Helen's like, just think about what you said over the past 2 years, the number of things that
you're not going to do.
You have changed your mind on. Couple of quick announcements.
Your ass a little bit there, sorry.
A couple of quick announcements that is related more towards the knitting side of things. We normally do a book club where we dye yarn to go with the book club. The last one we did was the Lilac Bus by Maeve Binchy. We are going to have our discussion for the Lilac Bus at the end of this video, so that if you are interested in that, please stick around afterwards. Yeah. And also we wanted to announce the next book that we're going to be reading, which is The Lost Girls of Paris by Pam Jenoff, Jenoff. We will probably be listing that after Marilyn Sheep and Wool, but we wanted to give you a heads up so that if you wanted to reserve it at your library or go find it, that is the next book that we're going to be reading.
The listing is not active. We haven't picked the extras or decided anything yet, except for the book.
Right.
So
the book sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It really sounds amazing. It starts off with a lady who is rebuilding her life after losing her husband during the war, and one morning while passing through Grand Central's terminal on her way to work, she finds an abandoned suitcase tucked beneath a bench. She opens it up and finds dozens of photographs, each of a different woman, and she soon learns that the suitcase belonged to a woman named Eleanor Trigg, who was the leader of a ring of female secret agents who were deployed out of London during the war. 12 of them were sent to occupied Europe as couriers and radio operators to aid the resistance, and they never returned home, and these are their photographs. So that she is going to search and try and find out who these women are and what happened to them.
Nobody wants to know what you think.
Downloaded the book to Audible, and we are planning to listen to it while we are in Maryland for Maryland Sheep and Wool. So we are getting ready to start this if you would like to get started on it, and then we will be listing the yarn and the extras after probably the middle of May, because we have Moms and Makers right afterwards.
Right.
So it will be.
And if you don't knit, come join us anyway. Just read the book.
Yeah, there's nothing that says you have to get the stuff or anything like that. We welcome everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing was the Tri-Wizarding tournament.
Right. This is also a knitting thing. We, in our Ravelry group, the Crafty Toes.
Staring at a bug.
Sorry. This is the problem with us being outside. We get easily distracted.
Very easily distracted.
Anyway, so we have a Ravelry group called the Crafty Toads, and we have just opened up a thread that is announcing our big summer thing that we're very excited about. We are going to run in our Ravelry group the Tri-Wizard tournament, and it will be 3 projects.
Yes.
1 each for June, July, and August. They will all be knitting, and
they will be specific.
there will be a very specific project. It cannot be, it's not going to be like
Knit a pair of socks.
It's going to be a very specific project. There will be points awarded for all sorts of things.
You get points for
You
participating.
get points for participating, so we'll have opened the thread by the time this goes up. And just, we're going to ask you for a little bit of information, just, give us your information to sign up. So we'll have a sign up thread, and then we'll open up a discussion thread. But there will be no whips allowed.
Because it's timed.
It's a timed thing. And there will be a huge prize at the end for the person who completes the summer with the most points. But then there will be lots of other prizes awarded for randomly. Then Mary Beth and I will pick prizes, and we will award points
In a capricious manner.
capriciously. But I mean, one of the ways that you can gain extra points is if you are one of our Harry Potter Club, the second segment of our Harry Potter Club for April, May, and June. You are getting the Tri-Wizard colors. So if you use that yarn, you will get extra points for
Lots
that.
of extra points.
But if you use Toad Hollow yarn in general, you'll get extra points for that. If we love what you're doing and think it's very special, you might get random extra points.
Yeah, we're going to award points as we see fit.
Right, and Drew is telling you that she's really the moderator of the whole thing.
She's the mastermind behind it.
So all the information is over there, and we will, as time gets closer, we'll start to drop hints and things like that.
Right.
Like what are you going to need for the first project, yard wise, needle wise, that kind of thing.
Right.
But that is very exciting. So check out our Ravelry thread for that. Okay. And now we can continue with the Floss Tube.
All right, here we go. Shall we start with you, because you've got a finished object?
I do. I have an FO. Look at that. Floss Tube number 1, and I have an FO.
All right.
It's not an FFO. It is just an FO. This is the... Oh, look there for Mania. The Brenda Gervais wordplay for December. My birthday is in December. So that was the one I decided to start with because Meredith and I saw somebody was doing one of them on Instagram, I figure. And we loved the idea of it, so we decided that we would each get our birthday month to do it. And we vended at YarnCon in Chicago at the beginning of April, and this was my start because I wanted to have a special start for our Chicago trip. So I did this in a month.
Wow.
I did this in under a month.
Way to go, you.
April 4th, right?
Yes.
Look at
So
me.
You did that in what, like 2.5 weeks?
Yeah. I mean, it's the only thing I've been stitching for the last 2.5 weeks, but so that is the project.
I think you've got it sideways.
Well, you can read the top
Oh, okay. I see what
for
you're
all
doing.
the information.
Gotcha.
And
We have enjoyed doing these so much.
Oh, I
We're
love
doing
this.
all the months. We're
Yeah.
gonna get all the months.
And I'm gonna make it into a pillow. We overestimated how big it might be because we thought we could maybe do a 12 by 16 pillow.
You could still do a 12 by 16 pillow and just have it in the middle. However, I do think
Yeah.
that's gonna look kind of lost.
So I think I'm going to, I'll see what the fabric looks like as a 12 by 16 cut. But I think ultimately I'll just stuff it.
No, I think that is a 12 by 16. Didn't we cut it to 13 by 17? I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, no. So I think it's because I remember saying I wanted it in the middle of the fabric to,
Right.
if I was using it. So, yeah, I think I'll probably just make a little tiny pillow and stuff it. Maybe I'll throw some lavender in it.
Oh,
We
okay.
have lavender from the lavender farm.
Right.
So,
It's
I
beautiful.
love it. And now I know why people clip theirs to a board when they show them on their Floss Tube because of the wind blowing. But
Maybe put the packaging behind it so that it gives it a little stability.
it was so much fun to knit and stitch. And it's the perfect project because you can, I did it in 2.5 weeks. So you get instant gratification.
All you have to do is do one
I
of
was
the
gonna say,
snowflakes
all
and
you
you
need
do.
is like, a little bit of time, an hour or so, and you've got a word. So you feel like you've accomplished
Right.
great things. So I think you're always having something like this on the go when you
It's a
need
nice
your,
thing,
when
yeah.
you need your satisfaction on your bigger projects. But I loved every second of it. I love the words. I love the way she designed the words. So they're not too blocky, like they look like cross-stitched words.
Right. I also love the way they go all different directions.
Yes, I love the Santa Claus. He was my favorite. And I'm so thrilled with it. So now I just have to make a pillow. I will do that after Maryland. We are vending at Maryland Sheep and Wool next weekend. And sort of all the focus is going there. We are in full-on panic mode. However, we did spend this morning planning out Stitch Mania.
Important stuff.
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind what's important.
Plus our yarn got delayed, so it wasn't like we could dye yarn. We could be making bags, but
I am doing October because I'm an October baby. So that is what mine is going to look like.
it's really quite chilly outside.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe we move this project inside.
Well, we could do it.
I'm freezing.
Suck it up, Buttercup!
Okay. This is as far as I have gotten.
I'm gonna hold it for you.
So that's where I am right now.
You're pretty far along though.
I am.
So you have
Coming
what, a
along.
witch, right?
Yes. I have to do, there are acorns that come
love
across
the
here.
colors.
And then there's some things that come down here. And then there's a witch and some other words up here.
Okay.
Like, October. Because that's not on it.
Like
Not sure what happened there. It just stopped.
technology has just taken leave of its senses. We couldn't have been at 40 minutes. God, I hope not.
No, there's no way we could have
Yeah.
been. Really,
Oh, well.
even with my blathering, we're not that far. I have not worked on it that much recently. I do really, really love it, but I was working on something else. So this is in my pouch to continue working on because...
And you have it on
So
your
much fun.
Mania list, right?
No, I don't. Starting 31 new projects. This
Okay,
is not
I
a
am
new
keeping-
project.
Part of my Mania is I am keeping... so
However,
I'm doing my...
It is
working
only
on my existing-
April 26th?
6th? Yes.
No, Yarn Day, local yarn store day is the 27th.
So we're the 25th?
Maybe 25th?
Yeah.
Right. It's only April 25th. I still have 5 days left.
And you have nothing going on this week, so you could just take time to cross-stitch.
You want to go with number 2?
Sarcasm is our go-to.
Our default. All right, number 2. What's number 2?
I brought everything except my journal, where I wrote down all of my Mania. Okay. Number 2, I have to find the pattern, sorry. Do you have number 2 ready? Oh, wait, here. There we go. This is another of my whips that I am working on. I have not worked on these the ones I'm going to show now for a couple weeks because I was working on my wordplay, and I really liked, as we go into Mania and I'm planning to start a bazillion new projects, working on one thing at a time. But I also do enjoy doing something new every day. So I'm easily swayed. Anyway,
I was going to say she's easily distracted.
right. So, I wanted to say with the wordplay, we substituted the thread. It called for
A bunch of different ones like
Right.
weeks and things like that.
GA. So we just substituted the DMC floss for it because we haven't gotten into fancy flosses yet.
Right.
I'm working on it. I've bought all the patterns in the world now.
So her next thing is she
next
wants.
thing I'm going to buy all the thread in the
Right.
world.
She wants to.
And I'm going to dye my own fabric.
There you go.
So, anyway, the Prairie Schooler Rabbit Run. And this is how far I have gotten. So,
You have changed a couple of colors.
I did not use the colors called for, but it's like blue, green, dark pink, gray, and gold. So I'm
Gotcha.
using blue, green, dark green, blue, whatever.
Right.
So, my colors are brighter than the called for.
Also,
It's more
isn't
of
he
a,
supposed to be brown? The bunny, isn't he supposed to be brown?
No, he's like a dark gray.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I love it. It hasn't got as primitive a feel as the original,
But I love your colors.
but I love my colors together. And look at him.
He's fantastic. To think that you did that out of a couple of little stitches is
And
just
there's no
amazing.
back stitching on him, which I also love. Back stitching, not my favorite,
No.
but maybe I will work on you tonight. Anyway.
Just wait till you get to the next one, because then you're going to be like, maybe I'll work
Oh
on
yeah,
you tonight.
absolutely.
My next project is my winter cupcake that I have been working on. This is by Lolata Designs. And actually, I'm going to take him out of, excuse me.
We were gifted these patterns, the cupcake patterns, by a viewer, which was very sweet. Thank you, Jennifer. So Mary Beth got the spring cupcake and I got the winter one.
I think you have
I
that
think it's the other way around.
Yeah, I think I have winter.
Mary Beth has winter and I have spring. And now,
I'm sorry. Just turn that off.
that's our back brace that we are eligible for.
Yes. All right. Winter Cupcake by Lolata Designs. And this is what mine is looking like. Mine has balls of yarn at the top and the bottom and knitting needles
yeah.
sticking out. So I am doing the cupcake wrapper, and then down here, just beginning, is going to be another ball of yarn.
And you haven't done any back stitching yet, right?
No, I have not.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it does. I'm really excited about
Yeah.
it. I love the shading on this. I love looking, it's a pain in the neck when you're stitching it, but especially when you're stitching it on tan. And I did this piece, the frosting was what I started on because that was the middle of it. So that I was doing lots of whites and tans and browns, and it was really confusing to begin with.
And you didn't really, it hadn't taken its life yet.
No.
So that you hadn't given it life yet, so that it was just like, okay, I have this white, tan, brown blob.
Right. But now you can really see that it looks like
Yeah.
a cupcake and swirled frosting. So it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm continuing to work on this.
I love her designs. It's Lolata Designs on Etsy. She's downloads,
Right.
instant downloads. She gives you a color pattern, she gives you a black and white pattern, and then she gives you a pattern with your back stitch.
Yeah.
So it's easily to follow. It's easy to follow.
Kind of thinking I have to go on to a different way of doing this.
Yeah, because the hoop's starting to...
Because the hoop is
I
interfering
mean, if you
with my
iron it,
stitches.
it'll...
Go back into
Yeah.
the way it's supposed to be. All right. So this is where I am right now. I do really enjoy working on it. I just have to get back with it.
far along as Mary Beth. I'm still working on my frosting. Sorry, I'm losing my bag. And mine is cross stitch, so I'm going to have cross stitch needles coming out here. But it's really so much fun. And I get the pink and white frosting, but then my cupcake wrapper is pretty much white, I think.
Mine is almost all white with little flecks of blue and
Yeah.
red.
So
We shall see
Yeah.
as it takes form.
just very cool.
My last project that I am working on is
It's a saga.
it is. So that's why I kind of left it for last. This is the Alice Carousel by Nimue. This is by far the most intricate pattern that I am working on. I absolutely love this, and I'm trying so hard to get it just right.
We had somebody suggested Nimue to us, and we went and looked at it, and it was just like, oh my god, where do we find?
I started doing it on this blue-gray,
Laguna, I think it is.
Laguna fabric. And I was having problems telling the difference between the stitches.
Oh, is that where you cut it? It's not the
Yeah.
back?
Oh, no,
okay.
no. This is the front. This is where I was trying to cut it to get the stitches out. I was having problems telling the difference between where the stitches should go because I was working on the hair, which is very blue. So that, and there are several, as in like 17 shades of blue that go into the hair. So it's very difficult to see where each one was supposed to go. I went to another one that was tan because I thought this is going to be a lot easier to work with because it's not the blue. So it's going to be much, much easier to work with. And what I was running into, oh, that's upside down. It'd be so much nicer if you could see. So to me, I kind of think I need to get closer with this one. Okay, so here is her face because it's folded in half. I'm not even showing. Okay, so there is her face. And to me, her face was looking weird.
Demonic.
The eyes were slits. She didn't look like Alice so much as the mermaid from the Harry Potter books. You know, the mer people from the Harry Potter books.
Like her eyes were off.
Right.
Yeah.
So it looked like that. And I thought to begin with it was because the fabric was too small. However, this is a 16 count. And I'm working on an 18 count with my Ada. And that wasn't, so it couldn't be that. And it was just, when I finally came up with this one, the threads move very easily. So I started doing it for a third time on our regular Ada. And you can see the difference in her face. I mean, her face looks normal now. This one is stiffer and the threads don't move as much. This is much more like cloth. And, well, I mean, this is cloth too.
Yeah, because we washed this and it's
soft and malleable, but it's still a little bit firmer.
the thread does not move.
Right.
I mean, your threads don't move.
And what I'm thinking is I'm a very tight knitter, and I'm pretty sure I'm a tight stitcher as well. So that I think what I'm doing is I'm pulling the thread tight and it's moving the, I'm pulling the floss tight and it's moving the threads and it's just distorting the face. Whereas this, with that little bit of extra structure in it, is keeping it straight. And I love the way it's looking right now. So I think this is the fabric that I am going to be working on for right now until I really get the whole stitching thing down. Just because this seems to be what works best with my style of stitching and my way of stitching.
And it's 18 count Ada that we bought from Michael's, and somebody suggested that we wash our Ada before we use it.
Because it was kind of really stiff.
Because it comes with a starch stiffener for sales purposes. So we washed it, and now it's a nice soft, it's almost like it is like a very soft cotton burlap.
Yeah.
So it's not linen, obviously, but neither of us is to the point of being able to use linen yet. So.
Right. So for me, this is perfect. The holes are big enough so that I can see them, and we were watching a Floss Tube where one of the ladies was saying that she went up an extra strength in her glasses when she stitches, and we tried doing that, and that makes all the difference.
Right.
It really does make a lot of difference. We have 2 really good lights that we're using that we have over our chairs, so that helps, so that I can do this. I am now getting to the point where I can do this at night, which I'm very, very happy about. So this is what I've been working on the past couple of nights. Now it's taken me a couple of nights to do those, but I'm not terribly fast, and I'm okay with that. I'm good.
Well, we're watching TV and everything, so it's not like it's dedicated.
Right. But it's also, I'm not terribly fast. I have to take them out because I put them in the wrong space. You know, it's just, I am trying to get used to doing one block and doing what my automatic reaction is do all the stitches in one color within that area. However, I'm finding that I count wrong, so that what I need to do is do the one in this color, then do the one next to it in that whatever color that's supposed to be, and just go along that way. So I'm trying to get used to doing that.
So you had a question about parking.
I had a question about people who use lots of different colors for a particular area. So for this one, here, I'm gonna just show you this little thing. As you can see, just by her face, there are lots and lots of different symbols there, because they're all these different colors. And then there's like one stitch that's one strand of this one and one strand of this one, but it's only one stitch. So when you have all these different colors, how do you keep track of your needles? Because it's not like they're all, one's green, one's blue, one's red, one's purple. It's 7 different colors of tan. So how do you keep track of, you know, which needle goes with which color? That's my question.
Right. So that if you have 5 needles,
each with a different thread,
each with a different color, how do you know which color is on which needle, so that when you need tan 1 as opposed to tan 2, you know which needle to grab?
This is what I did, and I'm hoping I'm not going to lose any needles on it. But what I did was, I have my needle threaded with the thread, and then I stuck it back into this little bobbin that I have with the floss on it, so that I have it ready to go and pull from there. The problem is I can't have it attached to the fabric. I've got to cut it each time.
Right.
So that you do 2 stitches and cut it, and then you start up again, and then you do 2 stitches and cut it.
Maybe what you do is you know, with the invisible marker, you mark, this is where you park.
Okay.
Tan 1, this is where, and then you change it for each little square you're doing.
Oh, actually, that might be a good idea if I just wrote on the fabric the symbol that you're using for that day.
Yeah.
And then just...
That's where you put the needle back.
That might be a good idea. I might try that.
Okay.
That's a good idea. All right. Anyway, since I have started this 3 times, I've made 3 copies of this because I use a highlighter. I just made my 3rd copy to start highlighting.
Just for the amount of stitching you've done on it alone, we have gotten our money's worth of that.
This is true. And I really, really love, if I didn't love the pattern as much, it wouldn't be as frustrating, and I would just say, oh, just go with it, you know?
Yeah.
But I love this pattern so much, and I really want it to be right, so I'm really working towards getting everything right.
Okay, my last project is another Lolata design, and it is my chocolate mice. And I love these so much. So there are 4 mice total, and these are the 2 that these guys are, hold on.
Here, can I hold that for you?
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
These guys are totally done. Back stitching done, everything done, and look at them. How awesome they are. And then I have the third one, and he is almost done. I have to like go in and do some shading colors on him and his back stitching, and then he will be done.
Is his tail done?
Huh?
Is his tail done?
Nope, I haven't done his tail. His tail, I mean the tails are fairly, the tail, it takes longer to back stitch the tail than it is to cross stitch the tail.
She gets such movement just on the tails.
I know. Look at this. And so much personality. Which, I mean, you get it a little bit.
Drew. Henny.
With him because of the way he's holding his cake. But once you put the eye in, all of a sudden that just makes all the difference in the world. So now that my wordplay is done, I think I'm going to go back and be focusing mostly on these because this is, I mean, the end is in sight on these. And I can get them framed up and put in my kitchen.
It's going to be perfect. It's going to be so pretty.
So,
really like those. Is it on the back?
I was going to say there was a needle on here when I opened this up.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I thought, oh look, I've already got the needle threaded. Oh well.
We will find it. It may be on the. It may be inside.
It may be on me.
Okay. We'll check as we
Anyway.
go.
Nobody
Wait.
move. I've lost
Here you
the
go.
needle.
I got it. There you go.
Look. See? So those are my whips.
Those are my whips. I have been very carefully not starting anything new other than those three, just because I know Stitch Mania is coming up and we have gotten lots and lots of patterns and I want to start lots of them, so I figured if I'm going to start 31 new patterns, I probably should not start anything else in between. Are you ready to start talking about Stitch Mania?
Yes.
Okay.
First, I will preface this whole thing with, for those who are new to watching us, we are not good with staying with challenges. We start every challenge with the best of intentions. So,
This one may be different.
let's see.
Shall we? This is my stitching journal, and
Mine looks exactly the same.
my first thing that I'm going to do, day number 1, is I'm going to design one.
My Beth is going to design and stitch.
I'm
her
going to make a
cover.
cover that says stitching journal, and then I'm going to have something in the middle. It may be a cat.
How are you going to fix it?
I don't know. I may have it so it comes over the top and the bottom,
Okay.
and just tack it in there. Yeah, I don't
A
know.
little bit of hot glue.
Yeah. So one of the things I like about this journal is it's got the first page folds out like that. So I have put 31 days. I have not put anything in it yet, but this is going to be my my planner, and I'm going to write in what I do each day, and then each day will get its own page, and I will say when I started it and who designed it, and hopefully I will come back and put in at some point, you know, over the next year when I finish it. We shall see.
And we can, we have a little sprocket printer so that we can take a picture and print it out on a sticky picture and put it in the book.
Right. So that I know exactly what I did and everything. So that is my
Big plans.
journal.
We are not very good at keeping up with our journaling either. But
Here is my 31 days. I have listed all my 31 projects that I'm going to do. And by the way, I took out the Bluebird Cottage and put back in the llama lump because I really wanted to
which
do the
one?
llama
The
lump.
bluebird. Oh, okay. We have we are duplicating each other on a couple.
But I planned out. I have
She's
31.
picked which day she's doing everything too. I have 27 chosen because I have left myself open for the eventuality that will come about when something new
Right. However,
grabs my fancy.
I have not put it in the journal yet. I have listed it here, and I figure if I put anything in the journal, I'm going to begin by putting it in pencil until I actually start it,
Okay.
and then I will put it in ink because I do know the bright shiny object syndrome that I will probably be distracted. I have my pile.
So do you know what your starting one's going to be?
Yes, my first one is going to be my stitching journal.
Right.
And then I'm going to do this one. I already have the fabric set aside for, and I've already gotten the floss for it. So this is going to be my second one. That is
Country Cottage.
Needleworks. May 2nd, we are going to be
Spring
traveling
Birds.
down to Maryland for the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. So this is ready to go in my bag. I have it ready.
Then we are. I will not consider it a fail if one of the days, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th, we do not stitch and we don't have a start.
Right.
Because we are setting ourselves up for failure.
Okay, so then that's the second, because
Well,
the
here, let me
first
show
is
my
my
start.
stitching journal. Okay. So one is going to be
So May 1st, I am going to start with the Cricut collection, Fresh Eggs. I just love this one so much. So, other than that, and what I'm doing while we're in Maryland, I'm kind of leaving up to fate or what I decide. So we're both doing the same thing in Maryland.
we joined a mystery stitch along. It's called The War of Tooth and Claw by Ingleside Imaginarium. And we have not started any of these yet. She already has 3 out. So
this area is all going to get filled in throughout the year.
right. So what we are going to do is each of these creatures and the crown, the falcon, the deer, and the crown are each going to be considered a separate start. So that is days for me 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, while we're in Maryland, we'll both work on the same thing. It's a small enough thing.
Right, and we will make sure that we have the right colored floss for that, and then that floss will cover both of us.
And you only need one piece of fabric, so.
Right, so that will be 3, 4, and 5, and then 6.
Sorry, it's cold.
Day 6 is going to be this welcome from the Cricut collection.
I just love her word things.
Yeah, so do I. So I'm going to do that from the Cricut collection, and then day 7, I thought I'd show you my first week. The day 7 is the primitive hair, and it is Miss Mary Margaret Wool. And that is going to be day 7. Now, we do not have it. However, we're going to be looking for it. She has also got cotton, Abigail cotton. So that is something we are going to look for, because I believe we are going to be stopping at...
It's called the Stitching Post. It's in Catonsville, Maryland, and it is on our way home from Maryland.
So since we are going to be doing, we're going to be there through the Monday. We're going to leave Monday morning. We know exactly where it is on the way home. We will stop, and I want to look for Abigail.
Yeah.
And she may be making it into the rotation, taking something out and putting her in.
Yeah, we want to look for some of the other word plays. We want to
We have a list
the
of
Plum Street
designers.
samplers, the lumps,
Right.
the llama lump, because there's a whole series that goes with that, and we have a whole list of designers that we want to look up, because the first time we went, we had just started cross stitching, and we were just so overwhelmed. We didn't know what we were looking at. We knew that we were looking for Madame Chantilly, and we didn't know needles, we didn't know fabric, we didn't know anything. So
Right. So
we
now
know
we have
everything now, so we're all set.
We're a little bit better. So those are my first 7 days. We shall see how it goes, but that's where I am right now.
And I am including in my Mania the 3 whips that I showed. I have days where those will be technically my start that day, just so I can keep working on those, because I know some people start something each day and then go back and work on what their normal rotation is for the rest of the day.
Right.
We don't have that much time
Also,
each day for stitching. Plus, I know that once I start something, I'm not going to just want to throw a couple stitches at it. I'm going to want to get something started.
And then there's that whole other, part of our life, the whole knitting part of our life.
Right.
Because
I mean,
we do knit as well.
Yeah.
So
And we knit for work, but we also
knit for
we love
relaxation.
to knit. I mean, that will always be the first. So.
Yeah, it's
And we have samples that need to be done.
right. So we are going to have some knitting in there too. So we shall see.
Yeah.
But that is the plan. See, what I really love doing is planning things.
Good at planning.
I'm very good at planning.
And spending the money on the plan.
Yes. We shall go from there. But that's where we are
But
right now.
I'm loving it right now. I'm totally into cross stitch.
Oh,
So I
really
see
am
this
too.
actually as a challenge we might accomplish.
Right. Well, at least keep going on.
Right.
Yeah. It may be that we don't actually start 31 things, but we stitch for 31 days.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I have stitched pretty much every single day.
Yeah,
don't
there
think
were a
I've really
couple
missed a day.
days where we just weren't home.
Right.
So we didn't stitch.
Yeah, no, there are some days when we go to my mom's and that kind of thing, and getting home at 11:30 at night, it's just, there isn't time. But when we can, we have.
Yeah.
We've really been very good at it. So this is not going away anytime soon,
No.
which I love.
Okay.
More crafty. Love it.
So,
All right.
I believe that is the end of our very first Floss Tube.
Hey, Floss Tube.
Thank you to everybody who has joined us. And
We are now going to go into a discussion of our book.
yeah.
So if you have...
Considering how chilly it is that year and the fact that we didn't like the book very much, it's not going to take very long.
Okay, so if you like Maeve Binchy and you have read the Lilac Bus, or you like Maeve Binchy and you haven't read the Lilac Bus, but you don't mind getting a little bit of spoilers, please stick around because we're going to go into that now.
Yeah.
Here we go. So the book club was the Lilac Bus, and this is one of her short stories. It doesn't take
It's a compilation of short stories.
right. And I read one time that she did these where she would have an idea and she would flesh it out a little bit, but it never really came to fruition, so she put them all in short stories.
It's kind of
tied
the
them in.
feeling I got was like, you know, they went into the vault when she got very popular. And I was like, oh, here, they'll buy anything with your name on it.
Right.
Let's publish this. So
All right, so she started off, she gives a section to each character. And she started off with the character of Nancy. Now, I had, one of my favorite authors is Dick Francis. He was a jockey, and he actually was the Queen Mum's jockey for quite a while. And then when he got to a point where he couldn't ride horses anymore, he started writing mysteries. And I loved his books, I really did. However, he knew that a lot of his books were bought in the airport on people's flights. They would stop in a bookstore, grab a new book. So he knew that he had to grab you from the first page. He always said that he gave you something within the first page that made you want to continue reading.
he always grabs me on the first line.
Yeah, Maeve Binchy didn't do that.
No,
I don't know why she started with this character.
She's the most horrible character. There was no, and I kept waiting as you went through because all of them are connected. Each character gets a story, and they're all connected because they take the bus together. So their lives intertwine. They live in the same little town and everything like that. And I kept waiting for one of the other stories to redeem this person,
And it really didn't.
and it didn't redeem any of them.
No.
I mean, the only one I really liked was the one who had the pot farm.
All right, so Nancy, I think the most polite way of talking about her was she was frugal. She was a penny pincher. She was
High and mighty. I mean, very sanctimonious.
very sanctimonious and condescending, and she really had a lot of problems.
She kind of. Never mind. I won't say that.
So my big question was, why would you start a book with this character?
When you're
You
not,
know?
because usually, if she does that in a book, in a full book, the character comes around in the end,
Yeah.
or
Because
or
I don't want to...
gets what's deserving to them in the end, or whatever. There's some kind of closure on it. It's not just here's a horrible character.
Right. And I would like to say that we adore Maeve Binchy's books. One of my favorite books of all time is Evening Class. I mean, I love that book so much. And there are lots of her books that I really, really loved. Her characters are usually fantastic.
Well, that's what she's known for.
And
is the character.
right, her settings are always really good too. And this little town was just a little town in Ireland. There wasn't even anything going for it.
But you didn't get anything out of. I mean, she didn't give you anything really on the town other than that they were all from there.
Right.
And there was the bar.
Right. And it was just. So then, the second character that she talked about was Dee. And Dee...
She's the one having the affair?
She's the one that's having the affair with one of Nancy's bosses.
Dee just needs to be smacked in the head.
Dee is young, very young, and she is having an affair with a married man. And I put down Her choices at finding that Sam is lying to her, calling him at home, are these because she's so young? Just her outgoing personality? You know, stupid. Really, you are not going to endear yourself to somebody by calling him at home when he's at home with his
When you know
family.
that you're, well, she was calling to catch him in a lie because he
Right.
said he was away. So,
And it's just, it was,
Yeah.
she was just, all I could think of was, oh my God, she's so young. So young. Also, she was ringing him from the pub, which is so
Right.
far nowadays. She had to go down to the pub to ring him from the
this
pub.
was set in the 70s, so.
And it was written in 1982, maybe?
What was when it was published?
Right, it was published in 1982. So, anyway, it was, you know, I had to go down and use the public phone in the pub, which I found very funny. All right. I kind of liked Mikey. Mikey was the security guard.
Oh, who got wrapped up in the. He was a bit of a dim bulb.
No,
but
that's
he was
Kevin.
not- Oh,
That was
okay.
Kev. Mikey was the one that was, his brother walked out on his wife.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He was just
He's a nice guy.
solid.
Yeah, just
he
nice,
was
solid
a
guy.
solid
Yeah.
guy. Loyal. He comes home every weekend to help out with his father. His father is losing his full-fledged dementia,
Yeah.
so that he's coming home to help out. This is my question. What kind of person walks out on your family, your wife and kids, and leaves your ailing father with the wife?
Right.
I
that
mean-
just really.
It's not even her father. It's your father, and you walk out because you're in love with somebody,
Oh, he was just
and
total
she's
shit.
having
Yeah.
a baby. I mean, come on. That just, that really, really bothered me. His brother Billy, I have definitely entitled, and Mary, who is Billy's wife, is still in shock from Billy's leaving that afternoon. If that were me, there would be glass and plates shattered all over that house.
Also, the father, I mean, she knew where he went, so the father would have been packed up and.
I think she
Given
loved the
to the
father.
mistress.
You know, I think she really kind of
Yeah,
loved the
yeah.
father, so that it was, she didn't, but seriously.
I mean, I know it's a different time. I mean, they grew up, she grew up almost as part of that family, so that he was almost
Right.
her father too. But yeah,
Oh,
no.
yeah, no,
I
that
would have packed
just-
Dad up and just sent him on his way.
And Billy would be leaving missing a couple of
Yeah.
appendages. Okay, so then Judy was the next one. And
Is Judy the drug dealer?
Judy's the drug dealer.
Judy, I liked.
Judy has a backbone. She's like everybody else, what
Except-
they need.
That she lost those kids,
She did.
and she lost those kids without fighting for them.
That I could not see that.
Yeah.
I mean, how?
Even though you know you're in the wrong and everything like that, she let him take those kids to America,
Right.
and that I just didn't buy at all.
That was it. I didn't
mean,
buy it as much.
Even if you lose the kids, then I'm going to America to watch my kids.
Right. It's kind of like the lady from evening class.
Yeah.
She fell in love with the man in Italy, and she was the signora, and she stayed in her apartment, but she had to be in the town where he was.
Right.
Everybody knew who she was. They knew she was in love with him. His wife knew who she was and that she was in love with him, but she was so much in love with him that she could not leave him.
Right. And
You know?
those are your kids.
Yeah.
And her bemoaning the fact that she lost her kids, that's her whole story, is that she's so sad that she lost her kids. Then go to America and get your kids.
Right.
You know, even just to keep an eye on them. You don't have to introduce yourself or whatever.
But
see
watch
them.
them. Yeah. All right. The next one was Kev. He was the one that was the security guard for the office building who let the thieves come in through the back door.
Right.
He looked the other way when they came in through the back door and stole all the copper wiring and the
Another one?
electronics and stuff.
I loved his brothers.
Yes, his brothers were very, very cool.
Yeah.
I thought his brothers were cool. Really, you got to think he's a bit simple.
Yeah.
That-
Kev was nothing.
Not the brightest bulb. Does he really think that he can just walk away from them
Yeah.
by just not saying anything? You know, because his brother is saying, make it look like you have another crew that you're going to. Like, really? They're gonna just let him turn around and leave like that?
Yeah, it's just...
I watch way too much crime TV, obviously, because that won't fly here.
Right.
Maybe it does in Ireland, but that won't fly here.
If
We
anything,
don't give
I
up
think
that easily.
From watching TV, I think they might be a little more brutal.
Yeah. So yeah, that one I had an issue with. Okay, and then after that, there was Rupert.
Oh, Rupert.
Who was Rupert?
Rupert was the one with his mother,
Oh, he was the
and he had to get out to go,
Right.
and he went to see, what's her name, Judy, and she sent him home.
right.
No, you have to deal with it, kind of thing.
But the whole thing was that he had a male lover.
Right.
He was gay, and that's
and in the
but
70s,
again-
and I do understand. I do understand how you're you're keeping that, but you know, I don't know. They all needed just backbone.
that was it. You
They're
know.
all just wishy-washy.
But I was really happy to say that he invited his friend home
yeah,
afterwards. At the
at
end,
least
he was
at
inviting
least
home.
he had an arc.
Right.
You know, none of them else. Kev and Rupert had the arc.
Celia did too. So Celia was the bartender. She was the one that came home
Oh, okay.
for her mother.
Okay.
To help out with her mother. Her mother ran the bar. It was originally her parents' bar, and then her father. Did he die?
Yeah.
He died. And then her mother took over, and her mother was slowly and surely becoming an alcoholic. And she was trying to figure out how she could get this across to her mother, because her mother didn't see that she was doing anything wrong. She couldn't see what was going
Yeah.
on. So that
Yeah, it was like
She
the last couple of
did have-
characters. You could see actually,
Right.
now that I'm thinking about the progression of the writing,
right,
because the last couple of characters did have the arc.
right, because she did have an end.
Yeah.
You know, where she did figure out how to get her mother to see what was going on and
And
to
into treatment.
face what was happening. You know, so there was Celia, and then the last one was Tom, who owned the bus.
Right.
He was the one that put it together.
And he
but-
was helping Celia.
right. I kind of thought that he was one of the least fleshed out. It was
It was
almost
just like an afterthought.
an afterthought.
It was like, oh, I should probably talk about the guy who drives the bus.
Right. So, so we would like to know what you thought. We'd be interested to know
Yeah.
what you thought about it. Leave us some comments down below and let us know if you read it and if you felt the same way, or if we totally, trashed your favorite book. Let us know. I do know that they made a TV movie of it back in the 80s. We saw it on YouTube, and we
It was like a British ITV or something like that.
right. It was completely on YouTube. I have no idea how good it was.
It
I
looked
don't think it was
really
terribly good.
dated. It looked really dated.
It was very 80s. Lots of big hair.
Well, also just the quality of the video, and not just that it was a YouTube. It was just, it was 80s quality, not what we're used to.
So there is that out there if you wanted to watch it. We did not.
Camera change.
Camera change. All right. We're coming back to say
Goodbye.
goodbye. Anyway, that was our discussion of the book. So,
It was our first, I consider it a dud. I had to force myself to finish it, but as far as our book clubs go,
for the most part, we've had really
good ones, but we've chosen ones that we've read before, so we are in the know on them.
Right. This new one that we are doing, The Lost Girls in Paris, looks really, really good. However, we have not read it. My sister number 3, did read it and recommended it very highly.
Drop everything, read this book now.
Right. So that is how we got onto it. So we're going in with very positive thoughts on it. And we're already planning extras to go with it because it's got some cool different parts of it.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for those.
Yeah, the
and
listing
we'll
will
let you
go
know.
up for that mid-May, and but we'll talk about that more on our next one.
Right. All right. So this has been our Floss Tube. Next week we will be videoing, or we'll be doing our
knitting
one, and we will probably do a vlog that will go with one of the
one after.
the one afters that
Yeah.
will be our trip, that we film a little bit on our way down and show you the house and everything like that. That will be not next week, but the following week.
Right.
All right, 2 weeks from now, we will do another Floss Tube one and show you our progress for Stitch Mania and how far we've gotten with our other ones.
Also, if you follow us on Instagram, Toad Hollow and Jay in particular, we do a live video every day or so.
Yeah,
A
we'll
little
try.
10-15 minute live video from the back porch. And starting May 1st, we have fodder, so we will be doing our Mania starts as part of that.
Right.
So Toad Hollow NJ on Instagram. I'm Helen HG69.
I am Mary Beth 494, and you can find us all over the webs as those 3 places.
So
All right. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
yes,
Go forth and create.
go forth and create, everyone.
Make
Stay
something
warm.
beautiful, and we will see you next week with knitting.
Yep. Gotta
Bye.
go dye some yarn.
Yeah.